if the Broncos want Bo Nix, he's there. My contention all along is this is a team that needs to trade down. They have a dog dirt roster. They have, I mean, are you going to take Bo Nix and have him throw to nobody, with the exception of Marvin Mims, who's the greatest wide receiver in the history of the National Football League? I don't know. I think Denver's a prime trade down spot, but I think Vegas probably fits Bo Nix better because at least Vegas has some semblance of the supporting cast.
Bo Nix to the Broncos official.
Wow.
All six QBs before
imagine a team that needs a defensive player right now. And you picked in the back half.
You're just licking your lips.
Well, Nagy called it. Nagy came on my show and he said all 6 quarterbacks are going in round 1. This is not me just saying that because the Senior Bowl guys, it's because that's what NFL teams are telling me. And so I have a bunch of these guys in super flex drafts. Bo Nix, that's awesome for him because Sean Payton, you can criticize him. I'm a big fan. But his offense has always been great for fantasy, and particularly the quarterbacks. Like a 39 through 41-year-old Drew Brees was putting up mid-range QB1 production. Taysom Hill, better than that. And then Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Ian Book were all putting up fringe QB1 numbers. So, but anyway, yeah, he's just had a bunch of scrubs and they all put up numbers. And Bo Nix is one of the most NFL-ready quarterbacks, supposedly. That's what people are saying. So I like that a lot.
Brett, we've talked a little bit about fraudulent prospect profiles here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call out names, but I was listening to the radio a couple of weeks ago, and a former NFL offensive coordinator who has a ring, multiple rings, I believe, talked about Bo Nix being the most accurate passer in the draft because he completed 77% of his throws. Brett, please provide context to that with regards to Bo Nix. By the way, the Broncos clearly thought he was a great prospect because they picked him at 12th overall. So this isn't damning Bo Nix's career. And if there's anybody who's going to get 70% passing completion percentage out of him, it's probably Sean Payton. But talk about Bo Nix's production vis-a-vis his statistics.
Well, he had over 100 completions each of the last 2 seasons on screen passes. Okay, so I think he was 100 out of 103. On screen passes. So that's inflated. I think when you take those away, he was down in the low to mid 60s. I still think there's some credence to the idea that he's an accurate passer. Similar to Michael Penix, he puts the ball on his targets. Ball location's not always great, especially when he's throwing horizontally breaking routes. He puts the ball in the back hip all the time. It was a big problem. I mean, he was the biggest beneficiary of yak as it was, and then the fact that he limited so much of it because of his ball location was kind of wild. So, I think Bo Nix is a good player, though. I mean, where do I have him in my big board here? He was my QB6. I do know that.
Well, he was the QB6 in this draft.
QB6 in the draft. Yeah, I had an 87.3. That's how he scored for me. That's basically. That's as close to being a first round grade without being a first round grade. So I'm not going to kill the Broncos for taking the most important position. It's not like they took it's not like they took Kenny Pickett in the first round,
Oh boy. Poking Brawley there. I wonder if our boy Trey's recovered yet, by the way. I wonder if the liquor cabinet has been opened. Do you have a liquor cabinet? Do they sell liquor in Iowa? What a silly question. Of course they do. I'm conflating that with your former home of Utah. The Falcons Penix pick is I'm still recovering from it. Thomas, by the way, am I still echoing here? We're doing live radio. Okay, I'm good.
I haven't heard you echo at all, to be fair.
No, yeah, that was your fault, Thomas. It was probably on your end. Anyway, Bo Nix is the latest pick. We have had 12 picks. 6 have been quarterbacks. 3 have been offensive linemen. 3 have been wide receivers. Not a single defensive player. No tight end. Unbelievable. And if your team needs a defensive player, what a phenomenal fall of the board right here. And now the next question is, what happens to Brock Bowers? because the Raiders drafted Michael Mayer last year. Now, that doesn't just drafting a tight end doesn't mean you can't draft another. You would have to think New Orleans is going to go offensive line. They were heavily favored to do that. So does Brock Bowers slip to where Cincinnati picked, or does Indianapolis get him? And Indianapolis would be a really interesting spot, Brett, for him, because Shane Steichen, the cheat code that he had with Philadelphia with Dallas Goedert screens a couple of years ago was phenomenal. And Brock Bowers is maybe the best screen tight end to ever come out of college.
I want Bowers to end up in Cincinnati.
Okay.
That's what I want. Not just because I mocked it that way. I just think you got a pending T. Higgins situation. Just go ahead and replace him right now with Brock Bowers. I know that doesn't seem like a 1-to-1, but Bowers is that special. I think diversifying their portfolio of assets is nice too, and getting a guy who can win in the short part of the field consistently. T. Higgins isn't really doing that. He's more of an intermediate threat. Overlaps with Jamar Chase a little bit. I think getting Bowers would be huge for that offense. So I'm very partial to that idea.
Oh boy, yeah. Atlanta.
It's Brock Bowers.
Whoa!
Michael Mayer got goosed.
Oh, that sucks for Mayer.
Oh no!
That's like he had a great analytics profile as well. Maybe not the athleticism, but yeah, that sucks for him.
I did not like Michael Mayer that last year compared to I guess consensus. I can tell you where I had him.
A lot of film heads said that. Nagy said that. Nagy was like, I don't think he's anything special.
Correct.
His production was just insane though.
Yeah, he was my tight end 3, and I did not have a first round grade on him.
Yeah.
Sorry, no,
he wasn't a first round pick. So.
No, but I had
Laporta.
I had Laporta,
Kincaid.
Musgrave, and Kincaid ahead of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That athleticism really killed him for me because, like, you already didn't see a ton of explosive playmaking on tape, and then, like, everything he did was contested over the middle. So, and then on top of that, he's not going to have any athletic upside. That just you can just be meh.
That's kind of wild, man. By the way, still no defensive players off the board. 13 picks in, not a single corner, not a single edge rusher. That's unbelievable. New Orleans is up next, and I would think New Orleans is going to draft an offensive lineman. So, I mean, where are we going to go here for the first defensive player? This is a bummer for the Colts. I think Colt fans really wanted Brock Bowers. From a fantasy perspective, I mean, let's look at the receivers. Obviously, Devontae Adams, but he's another year older. He's, 31, 32 now. Gardner, see, here's the thing. Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback, barring a touchdown Tom wanting to return. I do know there have been a little bit of buzz about that. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, by the way, who Antonio Pierce called out by name. He said, we really like Trey Tucker. Michael Mayer, they signed Harrison Bryant, but I guess Brock Bowers has an opportunity, Brett, to be their number 2 receiver right away.
Yeah, I think he fits in nicely. I mean, especially when you talk about vertical skill set and Trey Tucker, vertical skill set and Devontae Adams, he should be able to eat underneath all day and continue doing what he's been doing. So,
and your one concern on him was the screens, right? I guess that's arguably a perk given the quarterback play in Las Vegas.
Yes, screens and checkdowns. That's what he's awesome at. So,
that's also what Gardner Minshew's awesome at. Screens
and checkdowns.
Yeah.
Nice.
Short area accuracy, right? Like, isn't that like one of his biggest perks?
Yeah. From an arm standpoint, yeah. I mean, he's good at just keeping offenses on schedule in general. Like he's a solid quarterback.